Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Letitia Wallace begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, the Premier is urging Tasmanians to spring into summer, hoping to have 90% of the state fully vaccinated by December 1. It's still unclear what it will mean for our borders, but a major tourism operator wants to see all visitors fully vaccinated.
Rolling with the punches for the past 18 months, tourism and hospitality businesses now optimistic they could be serving tourists again by the end of the year.
That'd be amazing. I can't wait for the borders to get open and for people to be travelling again.
Vaccination targets have now been set for Tasmania.
And I want to be clear, this is a race.
The aim, 80% double dosed by Melbourne Cup Day on November 2, 90% by December 1.
There's still some people out there that doesn't want to, but yeah, I think everyone should.
It's a pretty hard target to meet. I really hope that we can get there because otherwise we're sort of stuck in a holding pattern.
If people don't get vaccinated, well then we can't travel around and what's the point of not being able to travel anywhere?
We want to be able to get back to normal and have our families come to Tasmania and be connected again.
Those 60 and over will also be able to access Pfizer and Moderna, rolling out in GP clinics and pharmacies, a date not yet locked in for the reopening of our borders.
We'll have more to say in coming weeks about what the Tasmanian plan looks like.
Pennicott Wilderness Adventures have had around 80% of their bookings cancelled in recent months due to the closures, but Robert Pennicott wants a cautious approach to the easing of restrictions.
I think it's really important for the community of Tasmania that visitors coming to Tasmania are fully vaccinated, and I think that and I hope that will become the norm.
According to new data, around 60% of Tasmanians are hesitant when it comes to a vaccine passport.
There is a lot of nervousness in the community on what it could mean, so I think we've got a lot of work to do yet before people change their mind.
There's a new push from the state government to help the almost 200 Tasmanians still stranded in New South Wales. Additional hotel rooms will be made available and a new trial will start next Friday to allow those returning from the regions to quarantine at home.
It's been challenging and I know that many people have been frustrated, but it's time to bring Tasmanians home and we're going to do everything we can.
Many now hopeful they could be reunited with their loved ones before Christmas. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
A 35-year-old Brisbane prison inmate has fronted court for allegedly escaping the minimum security section of the prison yesterday. Michael Westbrook has been charged with several offences, including evading police, escape and stealing a motor vehicle. He will reappear at the Hobart Magistrates Court next month. A West Australian woman will stand trial next month accused of murdering her mother in Launceston in 2019. 71-year-old Veronica Corstefine was found dead in her home in late October. Her daughter, Natalie Marr, has previously pleaded not guilty to the murder charge. Today, the Launceston Supreme Court heard the trial is expected to take around 3 weeks. It's due to start October 12. A 68-year-old former bus driver has pleaded not guilty to causing the death of her father and his 2-year-old daughter in Kingborough last year. Christine Helen Chatterton is accused of driving at excessive speed in the moments leading up to the fatal crash.
A year on from a tragic crash that took the lives of a father and his young daughter, the Kingborough community is still rocked by the trauma. Their black sedan was travelling south along Algona Road in Huntingfield when it collided with a bus heading the opposite way, the impact forcing it into the path of another 2 cars. Christine Helen Chatterton was charged with allegedly driving at excessive speed, failing to maintain a safe distance, applying excessive brake pressure and failing to take reasonable steps to avoid a collision. The Blackmans Bay woman appeared in the Hobart Magistrates Court today. Ms Chatterton's defence lawyer requested Magistrate Sam Mollard set a hearing, the prosecution asking for it to run for 2 days, telling the court they wish to bring a number of witnesses forward to give evidence, including a crash scene investigator and traffic inspector. The 68-year-old pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of causing a death by negligent driving and will reappear on October 11. Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian Olympic swimmer Ariane Titmus has made history, becoming the first woman to be awarded the coveted key to Launceston. Hundreds watched on in awe as the 21-year-old joined the ranks of other sports stars and accomplished local icons.
An entrance fitting for an Olympic champion.
After dominating in Tokyo, Ariane Titmus taking to the stage, bestowed with another prize, the keys to the city.
I actually felt like I was going out for a race. I probably was more nervous. I had these little butterflies, and I don't know why, because this is an easy process for me compared to going out to swim.
She's done an amazing thing. She's really represented us well as a community, but been able to achieve on the world stage.
The first female and youngest person to receive the prestigious honour, joining rare company with cyclist Richie Port and former cricketer Ricky Ponting, among others.
To, have this honour today, I feel so humbled.
But the dual Olympic gold medalist almost didn't make it to Tokyo.
December last year, I got diagnosed with a grade 2 strain in my subscap tendon and a bit of an edema to the bone, which is a pretty serious injury. You need a lot of rest. Really, if I didn't have the Olympics, I should have rested for a lot longer.
Ariane's journey to the Olympics started here at the Launceston Aquatic Centre. Her hard work seeing her hand-picked as a teenager to train at the Australian Institute of Sport.
I'm hoping to perfect my technique and learn more about the different strokes and work on my dive and underwater work with the underwater cameras available at the AIS.
Her technique clearly perfect. Ariane is going to explore the state before diving back into the pool to start training as she chases more global glory. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
Masks will be required at all events with more than 1,000 people from tomorrow. Storeholders at the Salamanca markets are urging Tasmanians to support local businesses and buy sustainable reusable masks.
We have a sewing centre in Hobart that employs refugee women, and they're beautiful women from Afghanistan, and so we've tried to turn a bad situation, like having to wear a mask, into something good.
And there are at least 8 stalls which have reusable masks to wear, and some of the designs are fantastic. They're also supporting really good causes.
Disposable masks will also be available at the entry of the market. Tasmania's oldest operating wooden police boat has marked a major milestone, celebrating 50 years on the water. The maritime vessel assisting in some of the state's biggest search and rescues.
Sailing the high seas for half a century, the Vigilant has a rich history among the ranks of Tasmania Police.
It was first constructed in 1970 by Mr Ray Kemp down at Woodbridge, and came on board as part of our Marine Division fleet back in 1971.
She's one of the oldest operating timber vessels in Australia. This weekend celebrating 50 years in the police force. Mr Kemp's family there to share the occasion, proving even decades on, it's still as reliable as ever.
Still provides a very safe and sturdy platform for our Marine Division officers to operate from. And I think that's really testament to the design and the construction of the vessel.
It's taken on some of Tasmania's biggest search and rescue events, including in the aftermath of the 1975 Tasman Bridge collapse.
And it remained at the Tasman Bridge for several weeks, operating with the dive team, which included a Navy dive team from Sydney.
Father and son Steve and Scott Williams have both skippered the boat during their careers.
Everything in here except for the really nice new modern electronics that's on it. It's just, it's as good as the day it was built.
Lots of times when I'm at sea, particularly doing rescues, I think of my dad that's probably done similar jobs and what they dealt with at the time, and it's not uncommon for me to still ring in for some advice.
And if the last 50 years is anything to go by...
She's got a long time to go with our organisation.
Ainsley Kosh, 7 Tasmania News.
After 2 years in the making, car lovers have descended on Old Beach for the return of the Baskerville Historics racing event. 170 competitors will race in a collection of classic cars as part of the 3-day event, which begins today.
Those cars range from open wheelers through to sports sedans, as you can see behind me, right through to what we would look at the Bathurst Big Banger V8s, the Fords and Holdens.
5,000 people are expected to watch the event, down from pre-COVID numbers. A big change is coming to the way Cadbury dairy milk chocolates are packaged after the company announced it was switching to recycled plastic. For mid-2022, over a third of all packaging for chocolates made at Cadbury's Hobart factory will contain recycled material. The company says it's the first step towards moving to fully recycled content.
It's a time for us to recognise that it's no longer good enough just to make commitments. We have to deliver meaningful action.
The first Cadbury Dairy Milk family blocks using the new packaging will be on supermarket shelves by September next year. The Tertiary Education Union has come up with a unique way of taking a stand against job cuts. Members presented a petition that had been made into a jigsaw puzzle to the UTAS Vice-Chancellor at the Sandy Bay campus as a reminder that people make the university.
This year the university management has gone ahead with a program of forced redundancies. So we're asking the Vice-Chancellor to rule out further job cuts and to enter into bargaining in good faith.
The union says around 250 jobs have been lost from UTAS since the start of the pandemic. The festive season is fast approaching and organisers of the Launceston City Community Christmas Lunch are already getting into the spirit. The event, now in its 6th year, caters for those in need. Last year's lunch was capped at 250 people due to COVID restrictions, but this year 350 people will be able to attend the Christmas Day feast at Albert Hall.
Looking at the faces of some of them that come in during the day, there's a look of hope, but there's also a look of happiness.
The lunch is being run by 5 local charities.
Local football now, and either Penguin or Devonport will finally escape the dark ages tomorrow when the sides try to break long-running droughts in the North West Football League decider. The Magpies hope to avenge 2 grand final defeats in a row, while the 2 Blues have enlisted AFL experience and the entire town for support. Penguin is feeling blue, a little too blue, for the 2 Blues are into the grand final on the cusp of breaking a 36-year drought.
We had a lot of people that played in the 85 Premiership up at the football club last night, and it was good to chat to them, and they were really saying, it's about time we brought the cup back to Penguin.
The club recruited former Gold Coast son Luke Russell this season. His AFL background has paid a handsome dividend.
Professionalism and just more structure in the way the game's played now, and just some of the terms we use and the AFL terminologies that they use, and the kids probably not used to hearing that sort of thing.
Perhaps explaining the town's heightened passion are harsh memories of the late 90s, when the debt-crippled club was copping 3-figure hidings and nearly defected to a lower league.
The club has really struggled to survive, so if we can win, this win will be for all of those presidents and committee and players and supporters that have stuck by the club over those difficult times.
Recently, Devonport has been on the edge of greatness, falling short in the past 2 grand finals with injury-plagued sides, but this year feels different.
The experience will help. I think we've got a full side in this year, we've got everyone to pick from, so I think this is best out of the last 3 years that we've got, so best chance.
The Magpies' history book has its own demons. Their last coastal flag was in the ferocious, at times terrifying, 1981 decider.
And another player has been flattened behind the play. Well, that's the way it goes.
A game past player, now President Jared Ennis, remembers well.
We had a sort of few superstars back in the day, Phil Manasseh probably being the highlight, but we had a hell of a lot of good local players. I'm just hoping we can return the days again.
One team all of the coast is cheering on is the Ulverston Robins women's team. They're undefeated, thrashed Wynyard in the North West final and now face Glenorchy for ultimate glory, the first statewide women's premiership.
There is a lot of support, and even from all the other clubs, they're really behind us and want to see us go down there and give it our best shot.
In another twist, Ruby will line up against Sister Molly playing for Glenorchy. The Pies are also undefeated after crushing Claremont in the SFLW decider, and the family banter is running hot.
Trying to keep it as friendly as possible, but I don't know if some of it I can say on TV or not, so I'll just leave it at that.
Overseeing the action, an all-female umpiring panel.
We're getting so many girls involved in the game, and it's showing in the skill level that we're actually seeing at this top level.
And in the SFL men's, Huonville Lions have set up another Huon Valley showdown after storming to victory in the prelim. They'll face Cygnet tomorrow, a side the Lions vanquished in 2020. The game is at North Hobart Oval, the crowd capped at 5,000. Launceston Tornadoes star forward Keely Froling will live out her childhood dream, donning the green and gold for the Opals. Froling will depart for Jordan next week to take a spot in the Asia Cup.
It has been a career goal since she was a teen, and now Keely Froling is about to fulfil it, making her Opals debut.
It's just a step in the right direction. Obviously I want to be there when it's Worlds and Olympics and those really big events, but yeah, exciting to kind of get my foot in the door.
Coming off the back of a strong season with the Launceston Tornadoes, being named most valuable player for the side, which has given her extra confidence ahead of the Asia Cup tournament. But she admits it's been a difficult few months, with the NBL1 season cut short due to COVID.
It's always hard when you can't play games. And then I think about the girls that are in Victoria and New South Wales who don't even have any sort of that access, so I can't really complain.
The 25-year-old, who leaves for the Middle East next week, says she's keen to cement her position in the fresh Opals squad.
It's really just about getting over there and showing that I can play at that level defensively, and then doing my bit on offence as well. We'll be looking at trying to get back up to that top of that Asia, which we haven't in a while.
And it looks like the star player will be sticking around for the Tawns for a second year after her WNBL stint in Sydney with the Flames.
We're currently working on that at the moment, so that's what the plan is.
Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
And ahead of tomorrow's Northwest footy final, tonight's Friday Flashback is to one of the bigger boil-overs in coastal football history. In 1977, Penguins weekend warriors stunned a star-studded Cooey side to claim the Northwest Football Union Premiership, leading to the team being immortalised as the Giant Killers. The bleachers were packed as the success-starved Penguin 2 Blues were roused by a rambunctious support base. But Cooey's old guard had plenty of reason to puff their chests out. The Bulldogs entered the grand final off a 101-point win in the semi.
And here we are out at the Devonport Oval for the start of the grand final.
Despite being weaker on paper, Penguin had a secret weapon in champion playing coach Warren Putt McCarthy.
McCarthy, I would say, within kicking distance. He comes in. That's a torpedo punt kick. Have a look at it. It's gone into the goal square.
The wily Putt sent Penguin kicking with the breeze and used every trick in the book.
Puts a drop kick in, and it's a beautiful kick to Ricky Watt left unattended.
Believing the supremely talented Cooey could be beaten if they dropped their guard, the 2 Blues got to work. The odds were stacked against them. In 45 flagless years, Penguin was a perennial cellar dweller, but this side was a new breed.
He puts it on his boot and he's put it right through the high diddle.
Caught unawares by the upstarts, Cooey responded.
Oh, have a look at him, Holmes. Is it all feel he's been completely unloaded?
And tempers were short.
Some flaps out, very groggy, and I think he's going to pull the 15-yard penalty.
How this wasn't a free kick, we'll never know. But despite Cooey boasting state players and a budget supposedly 4 times that of Penguins, the great grand final leveller proved to be once again. In the most dramatic of finishes, Penguin held on by 4 points.
Penguin Premiers 1977.
The near half-century drought was broken, one of the longest of any team in the land. Adding to its aura, the team would be inducted into Tasmanian football's Hall of Fame decades later, among 3 giant killers, the sides which had defied the longest of odds. As for Putt,
that's Warren McCarthy out there drinking the champagne.
He'd switched to Cooey 2 years later, yielding 2 premierships. But his mastery at Penguin in 1977 would be immortalised, with Putt named coach of the club's team of the century, and those players collectively among the club's most cherished. Haven't times changed? And Letitia, I love the Devonport Football Club. They're a fantastic club, but good old Penguin has given me a special 2 Blues tie, so I couldn't resist wearing this one tonight, but best luck to everyone playing on the weekend.
Good evening. 15 in Hobart today, Launceston 14, Burnie and Devonport both 13. The state's top was 17 on Flinders Island today, King Island reached 16, Smithton, Grove and Bushy Park 15, Strahan and St Helens 14, 13 at Low Head. A cloud band ahead of a cold front extending cloud across the state today. Further afield, a cold front continuing to the northwest of WA, low-level cloud covers parts of Queensland, New South Wales and the West Australian coasts. Tomorrow a trough will pass Tasmania early in the morning. A high near the Bight will move eastwards. North to northwesterly winds at 20 to 30 knots up to 35 knots in the north and southwest. Swells to 2 metres in the west and south, increasing to 3 to 5 metres. And a gale warning tomorrow from Sandy Cape to St Helens Point, including Banks Strait and Franklin Sound, and from Southeast Cape to Low Rocky Point. A strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters and the southwest lakes. Saturday's forecast now, a few showers for Hobart 15, Medina 11 and showers, Oatlands 12. Showers clearing for Launceston 14, showers and a windy day in Devonport 13, Lyowini showers or snow, a top of just 6 degrees. Showers for Burnie in 13, Strahan showers becoming windy in 13 also, Marrawa much the same and 12 degrees. In the east, St Helens a shower and 15, Swansea and Orford both 16 degrees. To Sunday now, and rain extending statewide during the morning, strong and gusty northwest to westerly winds. Monday showers more frequent about the west and far south, possible thunderstorms and hail, snowfalls to around 500 metres. And Tuesday showers for the west, far south and central parts, but finally mainly fine elsewhere. Adelaide a shower and 17 tomorrow, Melbourne 16, Canberra 17, Sydney 27, Brisbane sunny and 26. And it's 12 right now in Hobart, 12 in Launceston and 12 also in Devonport. Letitia, a series of cold fronts crossing the state will bring wet, windy and cold conditions this weekend.
Yes, it's looking like winter has made a return. Thanks very much, Laura. And a little birdie told me it's your birthday tomorrow. So from all of us here at 7 Tas, we hope you have a great day. And that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.